Hey guys, welcome back to Medical Coding with Blue. Today's episode is all about advice to those who are wanting to return to the medical coding field. If you are brand new to my channel, welcome. I am Blue. I'm a medical coder. I've been getting this question a lot lately of, Blue, I studied years ago for medical coding and I could never find a job. And I'm really thinking about returning to it. What is your advice? Should I try this again? Do I need to get training again? What are some of the alternatives to training since I already know some of it? Can you help me? All right, so let's get into it. I will start off by saying this though. I have tons and tons of videos that is advice to medical coding students, to people who are thinking about the field, to a bunch of different topics. So be sure to check out my playlist and check out the videos that I have. I do have a list for a day in the life of a medical coder where I talk about my day and what do I do and things like that. So if you're curious, be sure to check out my videos. And if you haven't already, I hope you hit that subscribe button and like this. And at the end of this video helps you, I hope that you will share it. All right, so that part aside, the thing about being trained a while back, and a while back meaning if you got your training prior to 2014, because 2014 was when we all started getting the ICD-10 training. So if you got your training prior to that, you probably were trained with ICD-9. If you were trained with ICD-9, then absolutely you need to go back to school or you need to do the independent study to learn ICD-10. And that's just the diagnosis coding. That was the one that got updated. Is still the same with CPT. Of course, there's updates with CPT. But when it comes to, the diagnosis, that is a completely different animal now from what ICD-9 was till now. So ICD-10 it's learnable. And you can certainly learn it on your own. I do have a whole video that is about independent study. And the template that I have in the video is just one that I thought of because I was recalling what I learned and how I learned it and the order that I learned it. And the pace that it would be good for somebody that is either brand new or even somebody with experience, because people who have experience and background in medical already is not always guaranteed that you're going to understand medical coding right away. So for what I recommend for the template that I have given you guys, and I will leave the link for the video for independent sequence study, I will leave it in the description box below. So if you're interested, check that out. But it's based on all the things that you have to study. And so hopefully if you're going through that, you're taking your time and you can learn it on your own. If you find yourself needing a tutor, I do offer tutoring services. I will leave my rates in the description box below. And I do tutoring via Zoom, so it's not like it's over the phone or anything. You can actually see me. And sometimes that's all it takes is for somebody to kind of explain what's happening in order for people to understand, because reading something and then having it explained to you can help. And so some people benefit from that. If that is you, again, I will leave my rates in the description box below. But when it comes to the reason that you decided to come back to medical coding, maybe it's because of the pandemic. A lot of people have really reconsidered what they're doing for a living because of the pandemic, or some people just have they were laid off from their job because of the pandemic. And so now they really have to think about doing something else. But with medical coding, and if you've already been through the paces of, I tried to find a job, I couldn't find a job, and everybody wants experience, it's still the same way. Everybody still wants experience. The thing about it is you have to be very persistent. If you gave up easily the first time, you have to remember this is going to be your second run at it. This means you've put in more energy into this than you did the first time. So because of this, you have a little bit more invested now. You have more time invested because you've been studying and taking your certification exam again. And if you have to take it again, sometimes people are able to maintain it depending on if they did or not. Most people will let it go and let it lapse, unfortunately, and then they have to take this certification exam again. And it's okay. If you have to take it again, you just have to take it again. All you have to do is think about the fact that it is a investment in your professional future. So that way you don't have to feel bad about it. When it comes to, again, why you quit the first time, not looking for a job, or you couldn't find a job, or you just got frustrated with the whole process, it's going to happen again. So you have to be careful with that. You can't give up. And I always tell people that if you give up easily, it's always going to be easy for you to give up. And this is why I recommend that you strongly think about what it is that you want. And every single one of us had to go through this process of looking for a job. And that is like the #1 complaint that I hear is, Bleu, it is so difficult to get a job as a brand new coder. I know. I was there. And I remember those days. And I remember the frustration. And I remember the tears, because I did cry. It's like you can only get rejected so many times, and you're just like, what's wrong with me? And it's like, it's not you. It's just the field, you know. That is one thing I wish that this industry would lighten up on, is making sure that they do give more chances to new people. But in the meantime, you just have to be as persistent as the rest of us have been. And there's something to be said about that. You know, it weeds out a lot of people, and sometimes it weeds out really good people that could have made really great coders. So the thing that I recommend is that if you're doing this again, make sure you have a really good cover letter and a really good resume. Make sure you put down all of your transferable skills, and make sure that you are studying still, even though you take your certification exam and you pass it again. Make sure you continue to study, because when you're going out and applying for jobs, they're going to be giving you those assessment tests to see where you're at. And if you can't pass those assessment tests, they're not going to call you back. So that's why you want to pass those assessment tests. They're very important. So that is one of the things that I would recommend. If you want to go through a program again, like through the association websites, maybe AHIMA or AAPC's website, that is totally fine. You can do that. But, try not to sneeze. If you want to go through a trade school online, I don't know of any good trade schools online, because the only one I can truly recommend is the association websites themselves. I did not go through theirs, but it's the associations, and they charge a fraction of the cost of a trade school. Because sometimes the trade schools will be like, well, we'll give you a voucher so you can take this other certification. And if it's not anything that's affiliated with AHIMA or AAPC, any of the credentials that they're preparing you for, then it's not really what you're looking for if you're trying to become a medical coder. So that's the thing that you need to remember. And also, when you are applying for these jobs, always know that it's not just medical coder as the title when you're looking for a job. Sometimes it's health information tech. Sometimes it's medical records tech. It's going to be different names. And sometimes you have to start in like prior authorizations and medical records, things like that. You want to try to look for alternative ways to get in also, so that maybe you can work yourself up into being a medical coder. Because a lot of times being in these alternative positions will put you in those in that arena with those people that are doing the hiring. But I do have a video, and I'll probably link it too, about the alternative jobs that you can try to apply for. I tell you guys the job titles that I do recommend, and then the jobs that I don't recommend. Because the jobs that I recommend that you don't do it's because that's not going to give you the experience or going to give you the training that you need to transition over to coding. Or it's not going to be as relevant, the training that you're going to get with those types of positions. Because there is a type of training that you get with these alternative positions that will help you to become a medical coder, but not all positions. So I give you my advice in that video. But like I said, if you are wanting to take another run at this again, I mean, it's a good field. It's still here, obviously. If you were concerned that it's going to go away, perhaps when you left it before, well, it's still here, and they still need really good coders. So if you're interested in it, I say go at it full force. If that's really what you want to do. If you're not really sure, then, you know, you really need to take a step back and look at what it is that you want. And if you really found yourself that you enjoyed medical coding, or you enjoyed it in school when you were learning it, but you just never had a chance to get your hands-on experience, you know, just do what you know is going to make things the best for you in your life. And that's pretty much what I can say about that, because to me, I love the field, and you're asking the most biased person ever for advice. And the reason that I love what I do is because I like reading, and, you know, I like working with my providers, and I like the fact that it doesn't get boring. You know, medical coding is always changing, it's evolving. The codes always get updated, and yes, the rules do change sometimes, and you have to learn to adapt. But that's okay. For me, that just keeps the field interesting. You don't have to worry about it getting dull. And sometimes people complain, well, I was bored with this clinic or that clinic. Well, if you're bored with those clinics, then you need to make it clear that you would like to be trained for something else, because your supervisor doesn't know if you want to be trained for something else, you know. So that is something that you should think about. You have to learn to get vocal about the things that you want. And if medical coding is what you want to get into, then go for it. If you have to start off in billing, that's okay. Just transition over whenever you can to get into the coding side, because having billing experience is very valuable. Billers can bring with them a set of skills when it comes to working with the insurance companies and things like that. But, you know, that's just an alternative. But when you are when you're thinking about making that choice of trying to get back into it, and whether you should or you shouldn't, it's up to you. I mean, like I said, you're asking the most biased person, and I would tell everybody that this field is not for everybody. But it for those that do find value in it, it will be fulfilling. It will reward you intellectually and professionally if you let it. You know, that's my advice on that one. And what else can I say about studying again? You won't run into the uphill battle of your medical terminology, because hopefully it'll be like riding a bike. And when you get back into studying it again, you'll be like, okay, yeah, I remember all of this stuff. I remember all of these words. And remember, you don't have to memorize all the words. Just know your prefixes, your suffixes, and your root words, so that way you could piece it all together. And to me, that just is the most efficient way to learn, you know. But yeah, check out my study tip videos if you're just wanting to do self-study and get the books and go back into it and study it again. That's totally fine. I will let you guys know right now, this is not an ad for Optum360, but Optum360coding.com, they have their sale still going on. Really good sale right now. I will leave their link in the description box below. They have the 2020 versions on sale, and they have the 2021 versions on sale. So if you're interested and you want to start studying again, that's a really good alternative to get cheaper books right now. There's also other websites like eBay and Amazon, things like that. So if you want to look there, you totally can. But I like sharing when I hear about a sale. So. But yes, that's my advice. Very simple, straightforward. If you're gonna do it, go for it. But this time, when you go for it, make sure you stick with it and you keep going until you get what you want, which is to become a medical coder, if that's what you want to go after. And when you do, then you'll be like, okay, now I finally got it. But you can't let yourself give up. That whatever you do, do not let yourself give up this time. Okay, so. That's my advice. I will go ahead and wrap this one up. Thank you guys for joining me, and I will see y'all next time. Bye.